Hey there, welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, this is Louisiana Cooking and Living. My name is Katie, and I think I say this every time, but I'm super excited about this tonight or today. We're doing a little series on Mexican food. My last video was just simple tacos and tostadas, but just to kind of make it a little bit more special, we made homemade fried taco shells and tostada shells. I bought store-bought tortillas, but then we fried them into the taco shells. And so that just made it a little bit more special than just a regular everyday taco. And so I can link that video up here. I think it's kind of up the side of the cards. And if you want to take a look at that one. And I have a few different Mexican or Hispanic foods I plan on cooking over the next few weeks to share with you. I love Mexican food. It's my favorite thing. I mean, I guess, of course, I love boiled crawfish or crabs or fried fish or shrimp or something. But other than like Louisiana food, Mexican food is my all-time favorite. So tonight we are making flautas. So excited about this. And we are going to do like a freezer prep kind of meal with it too. I'll make a lot of them and then put half in the freezer, and then we'll eat the other half tonight. And that way we can have them another meal. I find that's a good tip when you're making something, that you can make like a double batch of it and put half of it in the freezer, and then one night when it's you're looking for something quick for dinner, it's an easy go-to. Or lunch, if you're at home at lunchtime or your kids are home or whatever, they can pop it out of the freezer and just put it in the oven or air fryer or something. So we're making flautas tonight and some queso to dip them in. I also will be serving it with some salsa I have made, and I will link that recipe also, or that video, and we are gonna get started. So I'm gonna turn the camera down so you can see what we're gonna do. It's really easy. So the first thing here is I have 2.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and I just threw them in the pot. And I showed these in my taco video. I like this brand of taco seasoning. It's a very clean ingredient taco seasoning. Let's see, this has chili powder, sea salt, ground dates, tomato powder, garlic powder, nutritional yeast, cumin, onion flakes, cassava flour, cream of tartar, black pepper, and parsley. So there's no bad ingredients in here for you. So because we have 2.5 pounds of chicken, we're gonna use 2.5 packets of this. With the tacos that I did a full mild, and then I did a half a packet of the spicy, but tonight I'm doing all mild. So you could mix them up depending on what your favorites are, how your family likes them. But these I'm gonna make all mild in case we have like maybe a little kid over or something that's gonna eat some leftover, like out of the freezer. Oh, no, it didn't tear right. Let me grab some scissors. So the way I make my shredded taco meat, because we're gonna shred this, is I just put it in here. I'll put a little bit of water, like maybe 1/4 of a cup, just to kind of get it started so it doesn't burn on the bottom of the pot. And I'll cover this. So I'm gonna cover this and get it on the stove top on like a medium until it really starts simmering pretty good, and then we'll turn it down to low and let it cook with the lid on to make it steam and become shreddable. So we're going to make some queso for a dipping sauce. I've been trying to find a really good recipe to make queso. I've shared one recipe before, but we weren't completely happy with it, and I've tried a few different ones. And I will say now that we really do like this recipe. So what we're going to take is 8 ounces of this white Velveeta block of American cheese. I think it's called queso blanco. So 8 ounces would be half of this loaf of the American cheese. And we'll get that cubed up, and we're going to get it in the pot. American cheese is a very melty cheese, so this gives you a good texture here. So we're going to get that in the pot. Queso is so good and universal, really. I mean, you could just have chips and dip, or like a cheese fries, or like we're gonna dip our flautas in it tonight. You can just use it in so many different ways. And pretty much everybody likes queso. Of course, if you wanted to have the more yellow color, you could buy the yellow Velveeta. We just like the white. And the yellow is just food dye, so that's just one less time to have food dye in your diet. So just getting this chopped up into just chunks here. And then we are going to use 8 ounces of Monterey pepper jack cheese. Which is the Monterey Jack with the jalapenos in it. So that's what I have here. It's just the pepper jack cheese. Some people have commented on my little dachshund. You can see her right below my elbow there. She's always looking for something to drop on the floor. Her name is Cider Rose. She's got many nicknames, though. All right, we're just going to cube this up also. Once we get everything in the pot, we're going to get it on the stove, and we're going to put it on low because we don't want it to burn. Dairy products can burn and scorch on the bottom very easily. Sometimes I'll even do it a double boiler when I'm doing a queso. But this we're just going to do straight on the stove because I'm right in here and I can stir it. So this is some green chilies. And I think they're Hatch green chilies. And we're going to get those in the pot. This is a brand I have never bought before. And they had more of a pickled flavor than the canned chilies I usually buy. So I'm not sure I'd buy that brand again, but I mean, we really like this queso. So this is evaporated milk now we're going to add. I just added regular milk, but the recipe I found said to use evaporated milk. So that's what I bought this time. And we're going to end up adding the whole can. I think right now I just add part of it, but end up adding the whole can. So we're going to get this on the stove and get it melting, just like I said, on low. So now we're going to shred up our cheese. I find the easiest way to do it when we're doing a bulk amount of cheese is to use the food processor. So the first thing I did was some mild cheddar cheese, and got that shredded up already, and that's in the bowl right there. And next I'm going to use this Oaxaca cheese. There you can see Oaxaca is how you spell that. This is a Mexican melting cheese, and they actually kind of called it a string cheese, and it's kind of in this round ball, and you kind of can pull it apart if you wanted to make it into like a string cheese. So you can see the texture here if I just pull it apart. But this is a really good melty cheese. So this is the cheese we're going to stuff our flautas with. So we're going to shred this up in the food processor along with that cheddar cheese, and then we'll mix those together, and we'll use that along with the chicken to stuff our flautas with when we roll them up. So we're going to get this blended up in the food processor, or shredded. Okay, we're back, and the chicken took, let's see, right at an hour to finish up. And I just wanted to show you the shredding process. I just take 2 forks and just really go in and, that fork is hot. And it just shreds right up. So I'm going to get all this shredded, and then we will roll them up. All right, this looks really good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cool off for a few minutes so it's easier to handle. And then we will start rolling up our flautas. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little flour here, just regular all-purpose flour. I'm just going to add a little bit of water to this, and this is going to be our glue to hold our tortillas closed so that when we fry them, they don't pop back open. So I'll add a little bit of food glue going on. So we'll just stir this together. And my hands are clean. You're going to use your hands to roll these. All right, so that's our little bit of food glue. And I just have store-bought flour tortillas here. And like I said, if you can make a lot at one time, put them in the freezer. It just makes it a lot easier down the road. Okay, so I have my cheese. Mix this up. This was our cheddar and our Oaxaca cheese. So we'll mix that up. We have our meat, our glue, and we're going to put them in this pan after we roll them. So what I do is I just get a little bit of the meat, put it down, not quite the center. I just have a stack of the tortillas here so I can just keep rolling and not stick my hand in the package of tortillas. Put some cheese down, roll them pretty tight. Get a little bit of your glue, just do that, and roll them up. And it should stick. I'm going to put them seam side down though, just to make sure. We're just going to stick them all in here, and then we will get them fried up. Roll it pretty tight. And just like the tortillas, I don't have all my cheese sitting here because I don't want to stick my fingers in all the cheese if we don't need it all. You can always get more out. Now if you're doing these with corn tortillas and making taquitos, which taquito means just tiny taco in Spanish, and a flauta actually means flute in Spanish because these resemble what a flute looks like. But if you're making taquitos with corn tortillas, you could use cornstarch instead of the flour to make this little glue. You can make these with ground meat, you can make them with steak, you can make them with some shredded pork, you can make them just like bean and cheese. You can do all kinds of combinations with this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, so we got 23 of the flautas with the 2.5 pounds of meat. That just kind of gives you an idea of how many you can get out of that much meat. And we will move over to the stove and fry them up next. Okay, so what I did was I had some leftover taco meat from when I did make those tacos a few nights ago, and I had some corn tortillas, so I went on and wrapped some of those up. So I'm getting those fried out, and you can see how some of the seasonings from the meat will kind of cook out into the grease and the cheese also. So you're not going to be able to reuse this oil I'm using avocado oil here, but these I'm just going to partially cook because my game plan is to freeze them, and so I don't want to brown them all the way, so that when you reheat them, like if you do them in the oven or the air fryer or whatever, that they would finish browning that way. So I am pulling these out, and you can see I'm going to have to scoop out that meat that's in the skillet. I'm drying them over here on a drying rack that's over some paper towels on my sheet pan, so they don't sit in any grease that may have cooked out of them. Alright, I'm putting them seam side down first, just to make sure that seals up properly. Here's my queso over here. It turned out really good. I really like that recipe. You'll have to try it. I'm turning it back on to heat it back up. I have it on low right now. Now I find these flour tortillas don't take as long to cook as the corn tortillas. Give these all a turn. I think I overstuffed them because they're not as small. I guess the tortillas may have puffed up some, but they're not as small as they usually are. Alright, we'll get these fried up, and then we will be back together when we taste test them. Alright, we are finished, and here's our plate. You can see we have some refried beans, some Mexican rice, our queso with our flautas, and our chips. You could serve this with some Mexican crema drizzled over it, which is like a Mexican sour cream, or regular sour cream, some guacamole. We're going to serve it with some roasted salsa that I had made. I'll leave a card at the top if you want to take a look at that video, and we'll give this a taste test. Dip it in there. It's hot. All right, here we go. So good. Get a little shot of that. A little bit of cheese in there with that chicken. All right, I hope you give this recipe a try, and I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you did enjoy watching it and you want to follow along, we just ask that you subscribe and share the videos with others. That way we can get out there and seen by more people. The more people that share and like and comment, the more people that actually get to see. It kind of comes up, you know, in the algorithm, I guess, if more people are watching and subscribing and liking. So we just ask that you do that. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.